Hello everybody and welcome back to Coaches Co-Creating. It's episode 38 and today we're talking about a really important subject, and that is imposter syndrome. Now I personally do not like the term imposter syndrome. I don't know why. I think it's probably because it's overused, but I understand the concept and I think it's an important topic for us to discuss. So Jasmine, what do you understand by the term imposter syndrome? What does it mean to you?
I guess, yeah, it just the first word that I think of is like fake. And you don't know anything and you're pretending to be somebody you're not. So those kinds of words. Yeah
and I think it's interesting that generally it's the belief that we don't know enough to present or be what we're trying to be. But I think a lot of people who feel that way, they feel it in a way that they shouldn't, because they actually have got everything they need. They have got the qualifications, and it's usually typically found in high achievers, and it's far more prevalent in women than it is in men.
Is it really?
Lots of behavioral studies have shown that women feel it far more than men. And there is probably an aspect of when women tend to overthink, maybe, I don't know, whether they're more likely to sort of worry about things about themselves, whereas men tend to be more confident in how they are. I know that's generalizing, but I wonder if there is something in that there's I'm hesitating to say men tend to be a little bit more arrogant than women, but I don't know what that's about, whether that's true. But I'm sure people will come on this and say, I'm a man and I've got imposter syndrome. I'm sure it's not.
It'll be interesting to hear.
Yeah, it was just interesting that it said it's far more prevalent in women than men.
How often do you suffer from it?
I would say it's generally when you've got something on that, is a project, or maybe you've got a new client. I tend to get sort of every new client, I will start to feel like I hope I can deliver for them. And that's something, in me. I know that you've got to just work on your own confidence rather than competence, and that's the difference, isn't it?
And I think the good thing about being a coach as well, I think, is when you do have those moments where you think, I can't do this, what am I doing? When you, as a coach, you're aware of those thoughts, aren't you, more? And so you realize, hang on a minute, that's just my saboteur, or that's not real. So let's just put those sort of thoughts to the side and just carry on. If you can name it,
we say, you say about naming it, but it's also about testing the truth in it, isn't it? Remember the 2% rule. What's the 2% truth in that? And often we've grabbed hold of something that we're not quite confident about, and that then becomes the whole thing. Whereas actually, our competence is still intact, but it's actually that little 2%, that's gnawing at us, making us challenge whether we're actually good at what we do or not.
Yeah, but what you said earlier was quite interesting. You said about thinking again, and when we do question ourselves, it's actually a good thing, because then we're more likely to research more or reflect more.
Yeah, I think it's the opposite of imposter syndrome is this book that I'm reading, Adam Grant's Think Again. He calls it the armchair. Oh, what's he call it?
And I think you're the biggest bookworm I've ever met, by the way, I have to say. I mean, how many books have you read this year? I mean, I wish I could read as much as you. You must have read about a gazillion books this year.
Well, I had a bibliography like a couple of years ago, and I listed all the books, all the self-development books, and it was over 100 that I'd read. And I couldn't remember all of them, so it was like,
every day you're reading another book. It's great.
I do like my books, it's true. But he calls the opposite of the imposter syndrome is the armchair quarterback. So you probably be familiar. I mean, he's talking in terms of American football, but the men that sit in their chairs watching the football, like criticizing, the football, like, oh, come on, you could have got that, and actually, he's not a quarterback. He's criticizing this person who's trained for years and years to be in this role. So that's the kind of like, it's kind of like an arrogant sort of, I could do it, kind of, it's bravado, if you like. So that's the opposite of imposter syndrome, where you are competent, but you're questioning your confidence is questioning you.
It's okay to question a little bit, isn't it? I think it's a good thing. But I guess
I think it's positive, like you just said. you know, it causes you to, you know, to sort of just pause and make sure you are delivering as best as you possibly can. Yeah.
As long as you don't let it stop you from doing
Yes.
what you're supposed
Absolutely.
to do. But anyway,
Yeah.
we're talking about that more on your page
LinkedIn.
today,
Yeah.
LinkedIn. So come and join us on LinkedIn and feel free to leave any comments, questions, and we will see you there.
See you there.